with us for
Sure.
a minute, if you would. That was outstanding. Thank you. And really got us, I think, charged up. And yes, you validated some of the things we heard, but you also extended them. So that was right on point. I'm going to ask you to give us maybe up to 10 minutes with a couple questions if you can,
Sure,
and then
absolutely.
we'll move on to
I'm here to
a panel. So let me, guys, so we do have 10 minutes, and you've got a real bright and passionate expert at the top front of the room. Who's got a question for Dr. Applegate? Right over there. Can we, I'm just going to ask you to speak it up real loud.
Regarding the capacity issue,
Mm-hmm.
moving from 40% to 60% would seem to be a 50% increase in capacity in the system. Now, even if there's been people that are currently unsuccessful in the system, made them more successful, that's still a very significant increase in capacity. Declining resources, has Lumina kind of thought about how that might happen?
Yes, and let me see if I can be brief. I didn't have a chance to go into our productivity agenda in very different ways. We believe, first of all, that there are ways in which we can reallocate certain resources toward this success agenda with the money that we have. We're funding in 7 states right now some in-depth work to look at on the business side of the house in terms of whether it's risk insurance or energy or healthcare. What are strategies that can be used to save money in those regions that can be redirected? On the academic side of the house, we're really trying to support new delivery models. And most of the time in higher education, we are trapped in what Jane Wellman at the Delta Project, who does a lot of work on higher ed costs, calls the iron triangle. That is, quality is up here, access is over here, and cost is over here. And we're sort of trapped in this thinking that they're all can't be disconnected. That if you increase numbers and access, quality either has to go down or cost has to go up. If you increase quality, if you want to increase quality, access has to go down or costs have to go up. You get the point. We're seeing lots of models, the course redesign work coming out of Carol Twigg and her work at her national center, work with utilization of blended learning and other pieces where we are seeing significantly more students being taught at less cost with better outcomes. There are model after model after model. Higher ed is the only industry in the country that believes that technology adds costs.
Huh.
We're the only one.
Yeah.
Everybody else uses technology to drive down costs. That's because we have this kind of bolt-on view of technology. So we're looking certainly at technology. We're looking at new design mechanisms. We are looking in terms of funding on the basis of success, which we believe incents some of these kinds of behaviors that we're looking for. So short answer, long answer, but short. Yes, we are looking at new delivery mechanisms for higher education on the academic side and new ways to manage cost on the non-academic side that save money, not just to be more efficient for efficient's sake, but so that money can be reinvested in things that increase capacity to bring more students to success. So we are looking at that, and I can tell you more about that
Somebody,
later.
it might have been you, Jim, used the words more learning per square foot. I can't remember in the reading.
Wasn't me, but that's a good
yeah,
yeah,
that's
right,
a good
right.
one.
And
Yeah.
it can't all be done there's not enough bricks and mortar to build enough buildings to do this,
Exactly.
so it's got to be done a different way. Yes.
Right.
Dr. Applegate, you used the word high-quality credential, high-quality degree. Could you elaborate a little bit on what, in your view, constitutes a high-quality credential degree?
Yes.
Great question.
And again, this is an area where we're trying to drive the conversation. We don't have all the answers. But one of those is a high-quality degree is, if you look at our strategic plan, the first footnote kind of gives a definition. But basically, one element, I'll say this first, but don't leave me if you're on this liberal arts side of things. But the first is alignment with workforce needs and value in the workplace. Is it providing some kind of value for the individual? But the second, we're trying to really look at what are the kinds of skills, back to the points we're being talked. We're funding some work, as I mentioned, with the American Association of Community Colleges on some assessments that get at what quality means and outcomes. We have funded in 3 states, Indiana, Minnesota, and Utah, groups of faculty from different disciplines. This is 2- and 4-year private and public, along with in history, physics, chemistry, graphic design. I'm going to forget some of the disciplines.
Right.
But the point is, they're coming together. Again, remember, faculty are leading the charge, but we've got employers in the teams, we've got current students in the teams, and we've got alumni students in the teams. And they're thinking, all right, in history, let's just take one that is harder because it's liberal arts, right? what are the learning outcomes we want for our students in history? What do we expect them to know after 2 years? And when we finally give them that BA or the associate degree, or then we give them the BA in history, what is it that we are saying this means, what they know? And they are really having, for one thing, they're having a great time. Everybody thinks faculty talk about this stuff all the time, but we all know we're in meetings most of the time. We don't get to talk about really important stuff. So, but they're really working on developing, it's called, in Europe they call it tuning. Tuning your curriculum, your pedagogy, and your outcomes against a desired endpoint, kind of in a certain key. And so we're doing that work. So we're doing a variety of types of work, but ultimately we believe it has something to do, American Association of Colleges and Universities, AAC&U, President Padron of Miami-Dade Community College just stepped down as the head of that organization, has been working with what they call rubrics, in different disciplines. What are those learning outcomes we're seeking? So we know they include what the Europeans call, we don't like this word, but we haven't got a new word for it yet, generic skills. That's kind of a lot you all have been talking, communication, right, teamwork, etc. But then the point is, how do you integrate those throughout the curriculum? So yes, you're going to go on and be a biology major, and you need to learn a lot of biology stuff. But how do you design the curriculum so that you end up with a critically thinking, communicating, culturally aware, historically conscious biologist?
Right.
So it's not like, well, yeah, the first 2 years we do all that, and then we're done.
Yeah.
Now we're going to go off and do the real work, which is learn all about microbes, So that's the work we're trying to do and come up. We're even looking at the idea of what we're calling national degree frameworks. I know that they'll be probably voluntary, that. But basically, it's at a level of what is an associate degree, what depth of understanding and knowledge in general should it mean? Baccalaureate degree, master's degree, PhD. That's the way the Europeans have done it. And they've done it, they've come to agreement across 20-plus countries. Latin America has done it across multiple countries. Now, right now, we can't get an agreement between, Harper Community College and University of Chicago, whatever. We can't get an agreement between Illinois and Ohio, but we're trying to think about what would that look like. So I don't know if that's a good answer to your question. We really are serious about that. We know it's important.
Yeah. We got a couple minutes left. Any other questions for Dr. Applegate? Yeah, back here. I get two more. Peg will come to you.
It is, but I would be honest with you and say we struggle more with the parent component, and if you all have got some good ideas about how to do that, we could benefit from that. And I would tell you, too, the level at which we succeed in bringing parents into the conversation. This is a program, we're in 16 states right now. We hope with the new federal money to be in more states soon, Texas being one of those. But it varies from state to state. I invite you to go to Florida and look at it's an organization called Enlace, E-N, and then capital L-A-C-E. They're our intermediary. The report they just did on what Florida needs to do to achieve the big goal and the work they're doing in Florida around some of these areas. So we have some states where I think we've got pretty strong parent engagement in the process. We've got others less so. Right. But we try to give the states, we try to give this has got to be bottom up to a certain sense. So states are picking on what they think is most important. But Illinois is one of our know how to go states, so we'd love for you all to be involved with that, take advantage of the resources we're providing, and make it work for you. That's the whole point. Network members, become a part of the network so you can be a part of everything else, but then figure out how to drill that down for what you need to do with your feeder high schools and middle schools to make your strategic plan work.
One final question. Okay.
Well, first of all, we are connected to TRIO. We just gave them a small grant to become a part of our Know How to Go network. I'm working with Maureen Hoyler and others there. Just spoke at a Pell Institute piece at the Rayburn Building with staffers around